Lesson 14, Tables and Table Formulas. Well, think about most Excel spreadsheets. They probably contain table-like data. That's one row of headings across the top, and then rows and rows and rows of data, each row being one complete unit of data. In Excel 2007 now, it's possible to declare that range as a table. And when you define the range as a table, Excel adds all sorts of intelligence. First of all, it makes it very easy to format the table, even alternating row, what I call green bar formatting. The formulas are better. You can enter one formula in the top cell, and it gets copied down to all of the cells. Plus, any references that refer to the table will automatically grow as the table grows. So a pivot table or a chart made from the table will automatically expand. So here's a typical, although small, data set. Regions across the top. Data going down the rows. And there's 3 different ways to make a table. The first one is on the Insert tab to choose Table, and it proposes the range. You can also go to the Home tab and choose Format as a Table, which allows you to directly choose which table formatting you want to use. Or you can just press Control-T, which is the same as using the Insert tab, and you get a default table formatting. Now, once we have a table defined, a couple of things you'll notice. First of all, the filter automatically gets turned on. So we can use the filter to select certain customers. This is the same as the old Excel 2003 auto filter. We can also use those drop downs to sort alphabetically or descending. So that's the one thing that happens. We also have a whole gallery of styles that we can use. Basically, they're in light, medium, and dark, and they're in the 6 accent colors for the current theme. So you have all sorts of options here. Maybe we'll go with the blue. And if those galleries aren't enough for you, we can create a new table style or take one of the existing table styles and duplicate it. Some of the things we can do in the table, we can go to the first row stripe and say that we want it to be 2 rows. We can go to the second row stripe and say that we want it to be 2 rows. Click OK. And now when we choose that style from the list, it's at the top, we've basically created a table with alternating rows where each row is 2 high. And you can do many more formatting things similar to this. One thing, I really like the advantage of the table, but I'm not sure I like the filter drop downs at the top. I often come to Home, Sort and Filter, and turn those off just so that way the drop downs don't interfere with my headings. That's completely your call. All right, another amazing thing. Let's say that we come over adjacent to the table and we type a profit heading. You'll see that that column now automatically becomes part of the table. And watch what happens when I enter the formula, revenue minus cost of goods sold. Excel automatically copies that formula down to all of the rows. We don't have to drag the fill handle. We don't have to double click the fill handle. We don't have to do anything like that. It just happens automatically. If you don't want that to happen, the autocorrect icon here will allow you to undo if for some reason you needed to have a different formula in every row. You'll also notice that instead of using cell references like F2 minus G2, it is using the new structured references, revenue minus cost of goods sold. There are many different syntaxes that you can use in this new table nomenclature to be able to refer to specific rows, the entire data set, and using column names. I won't get into that, but Excel Help will give you a clear understanding of how to use those formula references. On the Table Tools Design tab, we can turn on a total row. You'll see that automatically adds a total to the rightmost column, but there's a drop down in each other column, so we can add some formulas to each of those. And we can easily toggle that off. The table intelligence also automatically extends the table. So if we would type a new record here, you see that that becomes part of the table. profit formula was automatically copied down. Another advantage of a table is that if we create either a chart or a pivot table to summarize the data, we can add more rows to the data and not have to redefine the pivot table. So if I would choose pivot table, OK, say that I want to see total revenue by product, you'll see that we have 188,934. Let me just copy some of this data, Control C to copy and paste it below the data. Automatically gets extended to the additional data. Now normally we would have to do two steps in the pivot table. We would have to go to the pivot table, basically use the pivot table wizard to redefine a larger area, and then we would have to click refresh. I no longer have to go to the pivot table wizard. I can simply click refresh, and Excel now rebuilds the pivot table from the extended data. Similarly with a chart, if we would create a chart from a defined table, just add new rows to the end of the table, and Excel will automatically go on. I have to tell you, when I started using Excel 2007, one of the amazing things to me was just the ability of the table to add the green bar formatting. And so nominally, one thing that I started using tables for, which I think drove the people at Microsoft a little bit crazy, is I started to use format as a table, choose some format, and then immediately I would convert the table to a range. This removes all the cool table functionality, but it keeps the formatting. Great way to very quickly format a table in ways much better than the old auto format. So if you like the table formatting but don't want to have to deal with all of their crazy table formulas and table nomenclature, this is certainly a cool alternative. Well, there you have it, the new table functionality in Excel 2007. I hope you found that helpful, and thanks for watching.
Looking to advance your career by acquiring new skills? Tired of expensive off-site training programs? Wish you could learn from the best instructors in the industry? Look no further than Live Lessons. Self-paced, personal video instruction by the world's leading technology publishers. Each live lesson comes with a DVD featuring 3 to 4 hours of instructor-led classroom training, sample program code that allows you to work along with your personal instructor, and an example-rich study guide. Live lessons allow you to watch the entire course from start to finish, or navigate directly to any of the individual lessons. You'll literally watch over the shoulder of your instructor as he shows you how to build state-of-the-art applications. Live Lessons, the power of the world's leading technology experts at your fingertips. To learn more, visit mylivelessons.com today.